obviously America, the most powerful country in the world, should be leading this fight, but your president is not a believer in climate crisis. How do you feel about this?
It could have a profound impact and could teach people that they've been poisoned and were completely left out of the decision of that poisoning. I realized also like how powerful films are for getting out information if you can make it good and entertaining and moving.
Remember when your mom told you, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all? Well, Mark Ruffalo clearly never got that memo, and thank goodness for that. His unfiltered takedown of Trump has become the most satisfying thing you'll see all year. But this isn't just empty celebrity trash talk. Ruffalo did something rare in today's political circus. He called out specific failures with brutal accuracy, from environmental disasters to business flops. And Trump's reaction? Let's just say Orange Man turned extra red. I'll show you the moment that proves celebrities might be our last truth tellers. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. Remember when your mom said not to say mean things? Well, Mark Ruffalo didn't get that memo when he went full Hulk on Trump. Picture this, a glitzy Hollywood charity event for environmental causes, cameras flashing, celebrities mingling, and there's Mark Ruffalo at the microphone, looking more like Bruce Banner than his green alter ego. That is, until someone asked him about Trump's climate policies. What happened next wasn't just another celebrity rant, it was a masterclass in controlled demolition. The room fell silent as Ruffalo's expression changed. Gone was the soft-spoken actor.
What we do probably in the next 10 years will be crucial to the future of the planet. And this is only going to become more and more evident to us.
And do you think there's like a really urgent parallel here with the climate crisis going on right now? You know, the waters and the earth being polluted.
I think the world should consider my president as public enemy #1 at this point.
Replaced by something far more intense. Trump wouldn't know climate science if it bit him on his orange behind. Ruffalo started, his voice steady but charged with emotion. The audience gasped, not because they disagreed, but because nobody expected the normally reserved Ruffalo to go there so direct, so publicly. This wasn't some random outburst. Ruffalo had clearly been storing this up, letting it simmer like the Hulk's rage. He hit Trump where it hurt most. His environmental ignorance. This man thinks windmills cause cancer, Ruffalo pointed out, referencing Trump's infamous claim that wind turbine noise causes cancer. The audience laughed, but Ruffalo wasn't playing it for jokes. Meanwhile, he's gutting the EPA faster than his buddies gut endangered species for fun. What made Ruffalo's takedown so effective wasn't just what he said, but how he said it. There was genuine frustration in his voice, the kind that comes from years of watching someone systematically dismantle environmental protections. Every time this man opens his mouth about the environment, actual scientists need therapy, Ruffalo continued, gripping the podium tighter. He suggested we should rake forest floors to prevent wildfires. Rake them, like it's his resort golf course. The cameras caught it all. Ruffalo's intensity juxtaposed with clips of Trump's greatest climate hits. Remember when Trump suggested nuking hurricanes? Or when he claimed cold weather disproves global warming?
This is crazy, and this fight is still going on, right? This isn't something historical.
This class of chemicals is still unregulated.
It sounds so dramatic when you say it, that we have been poisoned, but that fact that comes up in the film that all of us, 99% of us, me and you sat here now, have this forever chemical, PFOA, in our bodies.
Yeah. Even though the biggest health study in human history, 70,000 people, was done on this chemical. It's the most studied chemical in the history of chemicals.
Ruffalo brought receipts for all of it, matching each ridiculous Trump statement with scientific fact. When he says climate change is a Chinese hoax, he's not just wrong, Ruffalo explained. He's dangerously, catastrophically wrong in a way that threatens your children's future. But Ruffalo's criticism went deeper than policy disagreements. He took aim at Trump's character, at the core of what drives him. This is a man who cares about exactly one thing: himself, Ruffalo said, his voice dropping to an almost conversational tone that somehow hit harder. The planet, future generations, the millions who will suffer, they don't matter if they don't directly benefit Donald Trump. Social media erupted within minutes. Hulk Smash started trending, alongside Ruffalo Roast and Orange Menace. Clips of Ruffalo's comments spread faster than California wildfires, with everyone from teenage activists to retired scientists sharing and commenting. One viral tweet read, "Ruffalo just did what 500 climate scientists couldn't, explain Trump's environmental disaster in terms even Trump might understand." What happened next was perhaps the most telling part. Trump, the man who responds to every slight within microseconds, went unusually quiet. No immediate tweets. No Fox News call-ins, nothing for nearly 24 hours, an eternity in Trump time. His team clearly scrambled for a response that wouldn't make things worse, which proved impossible when dealing with scientific facts. When Trump finally broke his silence, it was with his typical playground tactics. Washed-up actor Mark Ruffalo needs to stick to pretending to be a green monster. He knows nothing about my incredible environmental record. Sad. The desperation was palpable. No facts, no substance, just personal attacks that proved Ruffalo had struck a nerve. What truly rattled Trump wasn't just Ruffalo's criticism. Celebrities critique him daily. It was that Ruffalo's comments were surgically precise, targeting Trump's most sensitive area, his intellectual insecurity. Ruffalo didn't just say Trump was wrong, he explained exactly how and why in terms simple enough that even Trump supporters couldn't dismiss them as Hollywood elitism.
The only reason we don't is because we didn't know what was happening, but now we do. And thanks to Rob a lot and this beautiful community of people who fought for 20 years, it's definitively linked to 7 different major diseases, testicular cancer and kidney cancer. We still don't have any regulations to get justice and to have their story told. We were able to make Dark Waters and able to tell the rest of the world what every major publication in the world should have done 10 years ago.
The incident revealed something important about Trump's relationship with celebrity culture. For a man who spent decades desperately seeking approval from Hollywood's elite, being systematically dismantled by an A-lister like Ruffalo hit differently than criticism from politicians. It exposed the facade of the tough guy who claims not to care what celebrities think, when in reality, their validation is exactly what he's always craved. For a man who claims to be the ultimate businessman, Trump sure got schooled when Ruffalo started dropping financial truth bombs instead of just opinions. The actor went beyond the usual celebrity virtue signaling and hit Trump where it hurts most, his precious reputation as a supposed business genius. Remember those casinos Trump ran into the ground? Ruffalo zeroed in on this spectacular failure with surgical precision. How does someone even pull that off? Ruffalo asked about Trump's casino bankruptcies. It's a business where people literally give you money, and yet under Trump's watch, casinos folded like a cheap lawn chair at a backyard barbecue. Ouch, that's not just an opinion. That's pointing out the mathematical absurdity of bankrupting an industry designed to print money. The beauty of Ruffalo's takedown wasn't just what he said, but how quickly it blew up online. Within minutes of his remarks, his name started trending across social media platforms. Trump's predictable response, an all-caps tantrum on social media, only poured gasoline on the viral fire. The internet had a field day turning Trump's meltdown into meme gold. People were sharing side-by-side comparisons of Trump's angry posts next to images of the Hulk smashing through walls with captions like, "You won't like me when I'm angry." Talk about an epic self-own by the former president. What made this different from your average celebrity critique was that Ruffalo came prepared with actual facts. When he talked about Trump's business failures, he wasn't making stuff up. 4 bankruptcies don't lie. Trump's casinos, the Trump Taj Mahal, Trump Plaza, Trump Castle, and Trump Plaza Hotel all went belly up under his expert management. So much for the art of the deal, right?
Well, when I read it in the New York Times Magazine, I was so blown away by it, by the depth and the scope of it. At that time, I was looking for stuff to produce, and this really sat well within my activism and political work and environmental work, and I couldn't believe that I wasn't reading about it on the cover of the New York Times, that it wasn't on the cover of every major publication in the world.
The guy managed to bankrupt businesses where drunk people literally hand you their money. The online response was ruthless but creative. Clips of Ruffalo's Hulk transformation got repurposed and labeled as "Mark watching Trump implode." GIFs of Trump storming away from interviews circulated everywhere. The internet wasn't just entertained, it was armed with receipts that exposed the gap between Trump's self-mythology and his actual track record. Trump's favorite defense mechanism, claiming he's the best at everything, completely crumbled under the weight of actual bankruptcy filings and financial records. Remember when he claimed to be, like, really smart and a very stable genius? Hard to square that with someone who somehow lost money running casinos. Even the most casual observer knows the house always wins, unless Trump is running the house, apparently. What makes Ruffalo's takedown especially effective is how it connects to assessments from Trump's own former staff. Remember when his former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson reportedly called Trump a moron? Or when his Chief of Staff John Kelly described him as the most flawed person he'd ever met? Ruffalo's critique about Trump's business incompetence and character flaws wasn't just Hollywood talk, it echoed what insiders had been saying for years. The timing couldn't have been worse for Trump. Just as he was trying to rebuild his image as a serious political figure, here comes the Hulk with a reality check that sent him into a defensive spiral. Trump hates nothing more than having his carefully constructed facade of success challenged with actual facts and figures. Social media amplified every bit of Ruffalo's factual beatdown. The memes were relentless. Everything from clips of casino implosions labeled Trump's business empire to casino chips with Trump's face captioned, "Worthless then, worthless now." Even other celebrities joined in, sharing and adding their own commentary to the growing digital pile-on. What's fascinating is how quickly Trump pivoted to personal attacks rather than addressing the substance of Ruffalo's criticisms. Instead of explaining how a supposedly brilliant businessman loses money on casinos, Trump called Ruffalo a washed-up actor, completely sidestepping the actual criticism. It's like being accused of crashing your car and responding, "Well, I don't like your haircut."
It sounds so dramatic when you say it, that we have been poisoned, but that fact that comes up in the film, that all of us, 99% of us, me and you sat here now, have this forever chemical, PFOA, in our bodies.
Yeah. What we do probably in the next 10 years will be crucial to the future of the planet. And this is only going to become more and more evident to us to get justice and to have their story told. We were able to make Dark Waters and able to tell the rest of the world what every major publication in the world should have done 10 years ago.
For Trump, this wasn't just another celebrity feud. Ruffalo had done something far worse than insult him. He'd made Trump look foolish using his own record. He'd turned Trump's biggest claim to fame, his supposed business acumen, into his biggest vulnerability. And he'd done it with specific examples that even Trump's most loyal supporters would struggle to defend. How exactly do you spin bankrupting multiple casinos as a business success? Beneath Trump's tough guy act lies a man desperate for Hollywood's approval. It's one of his strangest and most revealing weaknesses. This constant need for validation from the very celebrities he claims to despise. When Ruffalo went after him, he wasn't just criticizing another politician, he was exposing the fragile ego of a man who spent decades trying to be accepted by the entertainment elite that now openly mocks him. What makes the Ruffalo moment so fascinating isn't just what he said, it's how it fits into a much bigger cultural rebellion. For years, Trump tried to control narratives through friendly media outlets, angry tweets, and bullying tactics. But something changed when A-list celebrities started firing back without fear. They brought something politicians couldn't: cultural credibility and massive engaged audiences who trust them more than any politician. Trump's playbook against criticism has always been predictable: attack, deflect, and try to destroy the messenger's credibility. It works against political opponents but falls flat against beloved actors. Just look at what happened when Meryl Streep criticized him at the Golden Globes. Instead of addressing her actual points, Trump immediately called her one of the most overrated actresses in Hollywood, a laughable claim about one of the most decorated performers in film history. The attack made him look petty and desperate, not strong. The LeBron James feud showed the same pattern. When one of the most respected athletes in America criticized Trump's divisive politics, Trump didn't engage with the substance. He instantly attacked LeBron's intelligence. These weren't strategic responses. They were emotional meltdowns that revealed just how deeply celebrity criticism wounds him. What's so ironic about Trump's relationship with Hollywood is that he desperately wanted to be part of their club for decades. Before politics, he hustled for cameos in movies, created a reality show persona, and constantly name-dropped celebrities. The more Hollywood rejected him, the more resentful he became. It's like watching someone who wasn't invited to the cool kids' party pretend they never wanted to go anyway. Except this rejected partygoer somehow ended up in the White House. Ruffalo's criticism hit differently because he brings dual credibility that's rare in American culture. On one hand, he's the freaking Hulk, a globally recognized face from one of the biggest movie franchises ever. On the other, he's a serious activist with years of environmental and social justice work under his belt. When he speaks about climate policies, he's not just another celebrity with an opinion. He's someone who's put in the actual work on these issues. That combination makes his words impossible to dismiss as just another Hollywood liberal spouting off. What we witnessed wasn't just another celebrity feud. It was a cultural turning point where internet culture and Hollywood found common cause. Memes and viral videos carried Ruffalo's message further than any traditional media coverage could have. The cultural gatekeepers who used to carefully moderate their criticism of powerful figures suddenly felt emboldened to speak plain truths without worrying about both sides or political consequences. This alliance between pop culture and social media created something Trump couldn't control or manipulate. His usual tactics, calling into friendly TV shows, issuing angry statements, using official platforms to attack critics, all felt outdated and weak against the hurricane of mockery coming from multiple cultural directions at once. The old walls between entertainment and politics had completely collapsed, and Trump found himself on the wrong side of the resulting cultural wave. Cultural commentators quickly recognized this moment as something different, a template for how celebrities might approach political criticism going forward. Instead of vague statements or careful policy critiques, Ruffalo showed that unfiltered truth-telling backed by actual facts could be devastatingly effective. His approach inspired others to speak out more boldly, showing that humor, cultural currency, and brutal honesty are powerful weapons against political figures who rely on controlling the narrative. The aftermath proved just how significant this cultural shift had become. Other celebrities who had previously stayed relatively quiet on political matters started speaking out with new confidence. Directors, actors, musicians, and athletes began addressing political issues more directly, following Ruffalo's example of bringing specific facts rather than just opinions to the table. What had once been dismissed as Hollywood elites spouting off was transforming into a genuinely influential cultural resistance. And there it is, folks, a cultural moment that went beyond just another celebrity opinion. Ruffalo's truth bomb became something bigger, resonating with millions who'd been thinking the same things but lacked the platform to say it. What made this special wasn't just watching Trump squirm. It was seeing how one actor's courage created ripples across the entire cultural landscape, inspiring others to speak their minds too. In the battle between Hollywood and the White House, turns out the Hulk had the final word. Maybe there's a lesson here. Sometimes it takes someone who plays a monster on screen to expose the real monsters in power.